Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of Carding 101. So today I'm going to be showing you how we take our rolls and turn them into bricklay parting. And bricklay parting is super important when you guys are doing box braids because it just makes your braids lay super nice and it actually can give your braids a fuller look. So what I want to do first is start with your last section at the your last row at the bottom, which is in section 1 from your top of your ear to the nape. And in the first section, the first row, I typically like to start with 4 braids. So it's super simple. Split that row in half. Now you have 2 parts, and then each part will have 2 boxes in each. So this side, I'm splitting it into 2 boxes. So now we have 2 boxes here. And then you guys can use like these clips to get them out of your way, like if you are doing someone's hair. Or what I like to do is put product on it and then just twist it because the product will hold it in place. So there we go, like this, and then like that. So as you guys can see now, I have 4 boxes here. And it shows, let me move this over a bit. Yeah. So now when you go to your second section, this is how you're gonna do the bricklay. So I'm just gonna take this out. So what I like to do to make sure that the next box falls in between the parts. So really that's the whole point of bricklay. Each part above is you're trying to make it fall in between these parts. So it kind of covers it up. So what I like to do is I make a line in the middle of each box, and that's how you get your next box. So if we're starting on this side, you see the boxes here? Our first square in the middle here, I'm gonna make a part right down here. And there you have your first square. So I'm gonna put a clip there. And now for your next box here, you want your braid to fall down here. So you're gonna put a part in the middle of this braid at the top. So I'm going down like this. And boom, falls right in the middle. And then you're gonna keep going. So you see, you want the braid to fall here, middle of this braid. You're gonna put a part down there. And then it falls. And then once you get to this side, last one, you want the braid to fall in between this part here. You just put a line right in the middle, and it falls there. Let's clean that up a bit. And so forth like this. So now, if you go back, do you see how you have that bricklay effect where your hair looks fuller? You can't see the lines. It doesn't just look like scalp. You still see scalp, obviously, but it doesn't look super scalpy because your braids are falling in between each other, and that's gonna help them lay flat because you don't want to put a braid on top of a braid. It's gonna be bulky and it's just not gonna look nice. So you see, this is falling here, this is falling here, this is falling here. So yours should look like this. And the whole trick is, guys, just think of the middle as one part. So middle to middle, that's one braid. Middle to middle, that's another braid. So now we're gonna go on to the next row up here. So what I typically like to do when I start moving up more towards the top, I like to start from the middle and work my ways to the outside. Because the middle, the outside, I find it's easier to part, and versus the middle, you really need it to fall in between these. Versus these ones, there's nothing there, right? But I like to start working from the middle to the out. And this is the trick to know how to bricklay your stuff. So you see the first section, how we had a part down the middle? Let me move this out of the way. So the first section where we started with 4 braids, and you see that part down the middle? The next row after that had a braid going down the middle. So the next one after that is gonna have a part in the middle. So it's kind of like a pattern. So if you start with a part, you're gonna have a solid. So it's gonna be part, braid, part, braid, part. Or if you don't start with a part, it's gonna be a braid, then a part in the middle, a braid, part in the middle. So it's kind of a pattern. So that's how you know if you're gonna get your stuff to be Bricklay. Your braid, sorry, not your stuff. So see how we have the braid in the middle now? And I like to say I like to work from the middle out. So that braid you have in the middle, you're gonna make a part right down. Now you have 2 sections in this row. So start working with one and work your way out. So this is the side we're working with first. So I'm going to make a part in the middle of this braid, which is gonna create a braid right here. So a part down here. That's our first box. And then right here, so we're gonna make a part right here in the middle. That's your second. This kind of looks like a rectangle. So this is gonna be your second box, and it falls right down. And then you're at the side here. You can distinguish how much braids you're gonna put, but I'm gonna tell you guys my pattern on how many braids I put in each row for my medium braid. So I usually would split this into three braids for my medium. And obviously on someone's real head it would be bigger, but this head's kind of small, but this would be one right here, falling behind the ear. And another one right here. Realistically, if this was on someone's head, it wouldn't be that small. This, and then you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So you always want to match sides. That's how you're gonna get the even amount of braids on each side. So if you see this side, we parted in the middle. We have five braids. Sorry guys, it's counting. We have 5 braids on this side. So on the next side, you want to have the same amount of braids. So guys, I went ahead and I finished parting off the next side. So I have 5 on this side, and I also have 5 on this side. So now we're gonna go up to the next row, which are already unbraided. And remember when I said, if this one has a part in the middle, the next one's gonna have a braid in the middle. So you know. And how you're gonna part that braid. So this is our middle part we have here. Middle of this braid, part it straight down. That's one. Middle of this braid, part it straight down. There you have your middle braid, just like that. My parting's a little bit rocky, guys, but you guys get the point. So there's our first braid. So this will divide up your sides. So the same amount of braids you do on this side is the same amount you're gonna have on this side. And remember, work from your insides, from the inside out. So middle here, create a part right there. I'm running out of clips. Middle here, you want the braid to fall there. Just look where you want the braid to fall, and it falls. And then you do one braid here. This braid's a little bit big. There. A braid here. And there's one more part here. You're gonna make that last 2 braids here, and one braid is gonna fall in between like that. Okay. So on this side we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 again on this side, plus your middle braid. So that's 6 braids. But on each side, so this is your middle part basically. 5 on this side, 5 on this side. So in total, you're gonna have 11 braids in this row. And I'm pretty sure you guys get the picture now. I don't know if you guys want me to keep going, but I'm gonna give you guys the tip to how many braids you're gonna have per medium braids per head or whatever, how much I do in mine, which I always find it works for me. So I'm gonna finish parting out this first and then I'll tell you guys that. All right guys, so that was how you do the Bricklay parting. It's pretty much understandable. So I'm just gonna tell you guys how I do my medium box braids and how many braids per row I do in mine. So in general, when I do mine, I like to do about 65 to 67 braids. So every client gets about the same amount of braids. Sometimes it may be a little bit less just because their hairline is pushed back, or if their edges are fine, like they're thinning out, I can't make the braid there, I'll just make it into one, right? So everyone typically gets the same amount of braids, and the way I like to do it is in the first section, see how we had 2 rows? I like to start with 4 braids in the first row. The second row, I like to have 5 braids. And that's just for our first section, which is from the top of the ear to the nape. And then now once you come to the second section, which is from the temples to the top of the ear, the first row starting, which is at the bottom, I like to have 10, then 11, and then 12. And then that's our second section. And then for the last section at the top, which is from the middle to the temples, we have our 2 rows. The first row here, I like to do 11 braids, and then this row here, it's 10, so 5 and 5. And in general, I usually have about 65 to 67 braids. So now, if you do have 3 rows in your first section, which is from the top of the ear to the nape, the only thing that's different, the first row is gonna be 3, and then the second row will be 4, and then the third row will be 5. So the only thing that's different is you're just adding 3 extra braids at the bottom. Just because people's top of the ear and their nape sometimes is longer and it can fit more. Because you don't wanna put 2 and then it looks too big. But yeah. And also guys, when you are doing your Bricklay parting, just keep in mind the top of the head is round, so you have to just watch your parting. It may be a little bit off, it's okay, but just keep in mind that the head is round. So yeah, that's pretty much it guys. It's pretty straightforward. Just follow the stuff the tips that I gave you guys with the parting in the middle of the last braid, and also keep in mind your pattern. So if you are starting like us, we started with a part in the middle, it's gonna be a pattern. So part in the middle, braid down the middle, part in the middle, braid down the middle, part in the middle, braid down the middle. So it's gonna be a pattern, and vice versa if you're starting with a braid in the middle, if you have your 3 rows at your nape. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section. I always answer, and if you guys want me to do another video, I will. And yeah, let me know how this works for you guys. I'll also do a video on how to part triangle parts, because that's way different. It's not way different, but it's a lot different from square parts. So I'll show you guys that in a different video. But that's all for today guys. I'll see you guys in another episode.